I was a stay-home mom for 15 years. We moved across states multiple times for his jobs, raised our kids, built my entire life around his career and around my family. And then one day he packed his suitcase and said, "I don't want to live with you anymore." My life crumbled into multiple pieces that I did not know how to pick up. In this video, I'm sharing exactly how I'm rebuilding my life from ground zero. Not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually also. If you have been a stay-home, spiritually inclined mom who have been heartbroken, separated, going through a divorce, and you want to rebuild your life from soul up, stick around. This video is for you. You can see what's possible for you also. Hit the subscribe button on the screen so you don't miss any of the conversation and the tools that I bring. Just so you know who is talking, my name is Ashima. I have been a stay-home mom for 15 years. My life revolved around my children's schedule, needs and wants of my husband, and everything that family needed and wanted, and 1,000 invisible tasks that goes behind the scene for a family. Somewhere along the way, my identity became a wife and a mom, and I was truly in love with him. So my identity revolved around him. It was like mixing and mingling up who my husband was, what he needed, what he desired, what he wanted, what his ideologies were. So I adopted and accepted all that, and that became my identity. That became my way of living. And I actually felt happy in that. And I believed God had given me a beautiful life, and I was very grateful to that. No doubt, till this date. So one day when my husband stood up in our room and said, "I don't want to live with you anymore," my life crumbled. Everything shattered. My heart broke into a million pieces. But something in me did not crumble. My soul. On the outside, I had lost a husband, I have lost my best friend, I have lost a companion, I have lost the home I have built, I have lost the dreams, I have lost the future. All of that fell apart in front of me. But on the inside, I had something that he could never take. Years of spiritual practice, sacred wisdom that I have been studying for years and years now, that stayed with me, and that is what kept me together. In that moment, instead of saying I lost everything, a deeper knowing rose up deep inside me. God is realigning me with my purpose. This is not a punishment, it is a realignment. I knew that deep inside me. I knew that in my gut. Of course, I cried. Of course, I was traumatized. Of course, I was broken. Of course, I felt empty. My house felt empty. It felt like a piece of me has gone out of my body. It felt like somebody's stabbing me in my chest. Somebody's stabbing me in my heart. I could not describe the emotional pain that I felt. I cried buckets and buckets of tears. I could not recognize who I was because I loved him so deeply, and then suddenly he left me within an hour, blindsiding me. It crushed me to my core. But even in the middle of this pain, I knew divine is not abandoning me. Deep inside my core, deep in my bones, I knew divine is with me. Divine power is holding me. Divine power is giving me that strength, even though the pain was very painful. If anything I felt, I have been invited to live. The very true spiritual truths I have been learning for years. So I turned inward, not to numb anything out, but to really go within to see what this really means at a deep spiritual level, and to apply everything that I have been studying and learning and walking on the spiritual path. I went deep into my devotion. I went deep into my Kriya Yoga meditation daily. I went deep into the spiritual practices, the principles, how to live spiritually. I really started adopting and putting all the theory into action, and stopped seeing myself as a discarded woman, but started seeing myself as a beautiful light, a beautiful soul that I am, and all of you also. But as an eternal soul whose path was being redirected. And to my own surprise, within 4 months, my soul started to feel that relief. My soul healed from within, felt steady again. The circumstances around me were still changing, but inside I was anchored like I have never been before. That immense peace that started coming on me held me, grounded me, and anchored me in my core. And I knew this is a blessing. Today, I'm not just a former stay-home mom whose husband left, although that was the truth. I'm a spiritual healer, a creator and founder of Soulsevolution, a woman who is rebuilding her life in my divine-given inner strength, a woman who is actively rebuilding her life from soul up with peace, purpose, and practical spiritual steps. That's why I want to talk to you about this. Being home for 15 years and then watching my life fall apart, and still choosing to rebuild with confidence, because now my identity is rooted in my soul, not who left. If you're looking at your future and it feels like a blank page you never asked for, this video will show you how I am rebuilding mine, and will help you see that with spiritual grounding, how you can rebuild your future in your inner strength from soul up, inside out. Step 1, let yourself grieve the life you built around him. For years, our life revolved around him. We moved multiple times within last couple of years, including 3 cross-country moves for his career so he can keep climbing up. That's less than 2 years in one place. Soul houses. I started a business in 2018, and then in 2022 I had to close down because we moved like 3 to 4 times within the span of those 4 years. I was like, this is not sustainable way to do business, and it's impacting the business. So I had to close down that business. So I stayed home with our kids while his job decided our geographical location, where we will be. When he left, I did not lose just a husband, but the life I had built around him, thinking everything from a family perspective, from one unit as a family. I was losing the life I had built around his path, his priorities, his career, his choices. The first step in rebuilding is allow yourself to grieve. You are not weak for feeling lost. It's normal when your identity has been wrapped around him. Spiritually, grief is honest. It's a human emotion. It's your soul saying something sacred to me has changed. You have to feel that in order to rebuild. If you have ever felt that you're not just losing a person, but you're losing your entire life, you are losing yourself, tell me in the comment section below, because that was me. I hold compassion for you. I empathize that. I've lived that. If you're spiritually inclined mom whose life has been exploded, crumbled because you built your life around him and that relationship shattered you from inside, you are left with empty house, memories, your broken family, and a lot of questions about who you are. I created something to support you at a soul level, a sacred blueprint, a guide that will show you how you can transmute your pain, your grief into a beautiful awakening. Inside, you'll discover why rebuilding can't start with new resumes or dating profiles or new jobs, but how you can rebuild from soul up by changing and transmuting that energy, by recalibrating your energetic field, and what soul healing is when you have spent years being a mom, years being of service to others, how spiritual energy can transform your grief, your loss, your pain, your trauma into an awakening, into a bigger realization than you possibly could even imagine. It's like healing from deep within who you really are. If your heart is whispering that I don't want this to be the end of my story, then comment, give me the soul guide. I'll send the link. Step 2, remember you were capable before him. Before kids, before becoming a full-time mom, I was full-time working. I had a career. I was working, I was earning, I was supporting him while he studied. I managed visas, jobs, moving countries, moving states, bought ourselves a first house from the savings I could save after I moved and immigrated to this country. I worked for 2 years, saved money, used that money to pay off his student loan debt, and used that money to buy our first home because I wrapped all that strength around him, his vision, around his dreams instead of mine, because I made his dreams as mine. It's a collective dream. It's a collective vision. One powerful step in rebuilding is to remember your track record. Your soul didn't suddenly become weak because you stayed home. That soul that handled all of that is still inside you, alive, talking to you, loving you. You are not starting from zero, my friend. You are starting from a deep experience. What one thing you did before he left you, big or small, no judgment, tell me in the comment section below. Step 3, start with soul, then take small, brave steps. After I walked through this heartbreak with spiritual wisdom, I started to see that this pain is not a punishment. It was here to help me grow, align me with my soul's path, align me with my soul's mission. As I healed spiritually, I realized how deep and how meaningful it is to heal spiritually, because it heals us at our core wounds, at a core soul level. Not just a relief for weeks, but the shift that touch the soul, change our sanskaras, change our thought patterns, rewire our subconscious mind, and retrain our soul, retraining our mind to align with our soul, because soul is pure, soul is wisdom, soul is love, soul is oneness. So what it's doing is it's realigning our subconscious mind onto what my soul is here to do in this lifetime. That is when it clicked to me that God did not bring this pain for me to suffer, but for me to grow out of this, for me to shine my light, for me to tap into my inner strength. He was inviting me into my purpose. I felt organically called to this sacred healing work. It just arose in me to do this deep, spiritual, sacred work. And I found myself naturally talking to other spiritually inclined moms who has been heartbroken, shattered, separated, to find out that why are they still struggling despite so many resources and therapies and you name it, we have it, right? Why are women still struggling and what their soul is hungry for at a deep level, whose souls were hungry for deeper healing than clinical therapy alone could offer. Spiritual awakening often hides inside the experience we never wanted to experience. When you stop seeing this pain as a punishment and start seeing as like a personalized curriculum from the divine, it is a blessing, my friends. It is the ultimate gift you could give to your soul. Everything starts to shift and change for the good. So instead of our old selves asking, why me? You begin to start asking what my soul is trying to teach me. What am I here to learn? Spiritual healing works at a deep-rooted sanskaras, deep-rooted patterns, thoughts, belief system. Because this is deep. Why I say it's deeply rooted? Because it's coming from many lifetimes that we have left behind us. So all that is coming to our consciousness, all that is coming to our awareness if we pay attention. So you're not just coping or relieving the symptoms, you are transmuting the patterns, the belief system, the thoughts, the sanskaras, the habits that can echo through lifetimes. Yes, I said that, lifetimes. It is that valuable. It is gold. When you let God use your pain to reveal your purpose, your story stops being a survival and becomes about service. If you knew your heartbreak was a part of your soul's mission, not just a cruel accident or a cruel experience, what would that change for you right now? Step 4, let your pain become your purpose, not your prison. As I healed, I realized my pain, my story wasn't just mine. Other stay-home moms are waking up in the same nightmare. No income, no recognized degree, no experience, no job. Husband who has left, or the marriage that has fallen apart, or the relationship that has broken you apart, and therapy not touching your deepest fears and wounds and pain. That's when I stopped thinking, why this pain? But what is this pain trying to teach me? What am I here to help heal through this pain? Because not only I'm healing, I am uncovering my purpose so I can help others. Letting your pain become your purpose can be a simple act of service. It can be a simple act of giving, helping, nurturing, guiding, sharing the wisdom with others. It might mean how you raise your kids, how you carry yourself, how you deal with your friends, your relationships, how you support just one woman who feels like you did. Spiritually, nothing is wasted. Your heartbreak becomes a service, a teaching, a wisdom, sharing, a contribution. If you could turn one part of your story to help others, what would it be? I'd like to know. Share with me in the comments. If you're spiritually inclined mom whose heart is very spiritual and you're ready to do more than just get through the day or survive, or tired of putting band-aids on your symptoms, tired of only feeling good today and then tomorrow you're back to the same pain, same loss, same grief, and ready to rebuild your life with confidence, soul purpose, eternal joy, and happiness, this is the work I'm here to do with you. My approach helps you transmute your fear, your anger, your anxiety, your disappointment, your frustration, your overwhelm, the stress, into steady inner peace and align you with your soul's purpose so that everything can recalibrate and then you can move your life in one whole complete being who is not only surviving but starting to thrive. So you can create a life that feels rooted in your soul, not built on someone else's dreams and promises, because that leaves you shattered, but built on your own, rebuilt, and you're capable of. If that speaks to you and you like to connect with me, there's a link below. You can use that link to connect with me. We'll talk about where you are now and what your soul is craving and where you want to go. If this video helped you see how your heartbreak can be an awakening, watch my next video on the screen, When Therapy Isn't Enough, how I found root-level spiritual healing during separation. Watch that on the screen next. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.